Welcome to the North Fork Water Treatment Plant. Typically, under normal conditions, water would come in from the intake structure and get pumped up this hill where it's hit with a few chemicals to help with the sedimentation process so that it can be filtered out of the water. It comes up here to a unit known as the flocculator, which helps get all that sediment to be in a position where it can either be filtered out or settle all the way out. Gets behind us to those filters behind us, and then moves into the clear well here where the water is stored in this 5 million gallon tank until it's needed, where it'll get hit with additional chemicals on its way out of the plant. The event caused significant changes to their watershed, which increased sediment, which increased turbidity, is what it's known as. As a result, we called on our partners with the Army Corps of Engineers, and as you can see behind me, they're working on developing a pre-treatment solution for turbidity, where they're going to take the water out of the reservoir, pre-treat it to bring down that turbidity, that sediment stuff in the water, to an acceptable treatment level, and pump it right into this tank here, the flocculator that I'm standing on. That will allow it to then continue over to the filters behind us, go through this clear well, and head out to the rest of the system. And by having this system in place, it will allow for a reliable and sustainable ability to produce drinkable water for the public while a more permanent solution is being developed. Behind me here, you'll see the Burnett Reservoir. The Burnett Reservoir is where the North Fork Water Treatment Plant gets its water that it treats. The Army Corps of Engineers is building their pre-treatment system to start with those barges all the way out there in the distance. Those barges are going to be taking water out of the reservoir, pumping it up to the rise. Then from there, it'll be pumped down into that flocculation tank. Additionally, you'll see this yellow boom that goes around the intake structure, which is the tower that comes up here. That is the turbidity curtain that the Water Resources Department placed up themselves. Essentially what they're trying to do there is trying to reduce the amount of turbidity of the water going into the plant. And they do that by using that curtain, which allows the water to settle out and gives the sediment a chance to fall out. And when Helene was coming through, this reservoir filled up very quickly and filled up to where you see that wall coming out from the top of the dam. That's called the parapet. Water reached the parapet. When it did, that activated a tilt bucket down here, which then went down the spillway and protected the dam, preventing this dam from being overtopped with water, which in the event that that happened, there would have been a catastrophic loss of life, and we could be 5 to 7 years away from potable water. So this site behind me and around us is actually the site where a major transmission line break occurred coming out of the North Fork Water Treatment Plant. What happened is the water came through here and essentially took all of this stuff behind and around us and dropped it about 25 to 30 feet. Where we're standing is where the river used to be. And now the river goes behind me and off here to the side. The water department back in 2020 was actually able to complete a mitigation project that allowed them to compress the time frame to restore water to the city of Asheville by constructing what is known as a bypass line, which connected above this area of significant concern and below this area of significant concern, which then resulted in them only needing to replace about 300 to 400 feet of pipe as opposed to a lot more, and allowed them to compress that time window to being able to get some sort of water down into the city of Asheville. What happened here is really significant because of the sheer amount of work that happened within 11 days was Herculean. The amount of contractors that were up here, the amount of heavy equipment working in concert with one another, and all of that facilitated by the city of Asheville in the days following the event to get them here as soon as possible.